authoritarianism. This is what dictators do. They shut down the press, they shut down dissent, they jail their opponents, or in this case, they steal their security clearance.
What happened here was a pure authoritarian act from an intemperate president who wanted to punish one of his critics. Nothing more, nothing less.
The White House is threatening him right now by taking away his security clearance. They've already
it doesn't influence my commentary.
They've already taken it away from John Brennan. So doesn't that say to everybody else, shut your mouth?
This is all dumb.
Oh, boy, that were possible, Katie.
Absurd, as John Brennan continues to spew his anti-Trump hatred all over conspiracy TV, MSNBC. One other important point. A security clearance, for those of you that have never read the Constitution and claim you're a journalist, it's not a constitutional right. It's a privilege. All right, now we turn to our daily roundup of the most deranged Trump haters, and tonight we're featuring this absurd comment. Once again, conspiracy TV, MSNBC. Take a look.
I like the idea that you use the examples, the bad example of like what would be the core that would say it was okay for Donald Trump to dissolve media institutions because media institutions are super unpopular. I would like a pollster to test this question. How many people in the Republican Party think that it would be okay for Donald Trump to dissolve their own grandparents? I'm virtually certain that if it was a Donald Trump related question, you'd get like 10% that would be like, Donald Trump has the power to do whatever he wants, including kill my parents.
And today, President Trump gave his own take on the media's Trump derangement syndrome, tweeting, quote, "There is nothing that I would want more for our country than true freedom of the press. The fact is that the press is free to write and say anything they want. But much of what it says is fake news, pushing a political agenda, or just plain trying to hurt people. Honesty wins." Maybe that's why you've made us number one, and we thank you.
Remember when it was bad for local media to convey coordinated messages over the airwaves? Like when Sinclair Media asked local anchors at their stations to read the same promo script to describe their newscasts. They were derided by legacy media as Orwellian, Soviet-style propagandists who had created local Stepford wives. Oh, the outrage.
You get the idea there, what's going on. All these anchors and all these markets are required to read this script. It's attacking fake news.
If you are centralizing a political message to however many, more than 200 stations, I think it'll be if they get the FCC approval for this, to 200 stations, you have one of the great political messaging machines in the world.
So it was an abuse of the media for Sinclair to air these homogenized promos in local markets. But when the legacy media coordinate messages across local markets, it's apparently no problem at all. Tomorrow, over 350 papers organized by the Boston Globe will print coordinated editorials to denounce the president for his fake news comments and media trash talk. Sounds like one of the great political messaging machines in the entire world, if you ask me. Marjorie Pritchard of the Boston Globe told CNN, quote, "We have some big newspapers, but the majority are from smaller markets, all enthusiastic about standing up to Trump's assault on journalism." What we are witnessing is the full-on politicization of the media. So rather than cover how American lives are being transformed due to a booming economy and record-breaking employment figures, the media focus on self-created controversies like fabricated dossier claims. What was in the dossier was a spelled-out, detailed allegation that there was a mutual operation underway here. That there was collaboration and coordination between the Trump campaign and the Russians. A day that began with clips of James Comey,
and the Tootsie Pop Owl,
all over television, telling ABC News that he cannot rule out that the infamous P tape mentioned in the Steele dossier is real.
Tell me the P tape or whatever the heck it is has credibility.
Listen, that is exactly what Mueller is looking at, one of the things, and so we'll find out.
False. And one of my personal faves that the media obsessed on, the breathless Melania is MIA speculation.
One thing that the president and the White House have been quite quiet about is Melania Trump and her status.
Staying behind at the White House, it seems, First Lady Melania Trump. The public hasn't seen her in 23 days, many wondering where she might be.
If the First Lady or the person who's standing in for First Lady disappears, you want to know where she is.
The First Lady was recovering from fairly serious surgery. By the way, a lot of these journalists take off 2 weeks for, what, a colonoscopy?
The fake Trump dossier. He said, I didn't know. So there's two possibilities. He's either lying or he's incompetent. Because if he's in charge of the CIA and they're using this fake dossier and no one bothered to ask who paid for it,